B, the guru loves the association. You feel so associated with the association because it's about the NBA. You talk about three things, baby. Really, you talk about two things. You talk about King James. You talk about the Golden State Warriors. That's all that matters, man. Everything all else is just a gap stopper, man. It's just a gap stopper.
Well, proving that he is, whether he plays or not, the most important player in sports, King James's absence in the East led to a flurry of moves at the trade deadline by seemingly every team in the East trying to make a run to go for it. They said, this is our chance. LeBron is in the West. Who's going to play the Warriors? We got a shot at it. Everybody except the Celtics made a move going in here. The Sixers pulled a couple of moves off. They brought in Tobias Harris and Boban.
Love that move.
Love that move. And they shipped off Markelle Fultz finally. I was impressed they got a first-round draft pick for him. So that's something there in
Philly. Of course. Anything. You go to Atlanta. You could do anything. You could always skip the Magic.
Absolutely. And the Raptors picked up Marcus Gasol. That's a huge pickup.
Pick, yeah.
And then who went to the Bucks? Oh, Nikolai Mirotic. Mirotic went to the Bucks to make that team better. So
I love that pick too.
I'll tell you what, man. Dogfight in the East. Who do you like coming out of this trade deadline, Guru?
Man, the same thing I like from the preseason, like I told you, and I'm gonna say it again. And you always get hype. I like the Sixers from going into it. I like them going into it. It was prior to the Jimmy Butler. And I love them now where they position themselves because we remember this discussion we had when they had Jimmy Butler.
I know.
You're like, man, what are we doing? We're about to go in now. I'm like, the process is like, we already passed the process stage and about processes. The process is about now.
Yeah.
We already started the process to get to now. Now it's a different process. Now the evolution process is we got to win.
Well, we gotta
win. And you remember a couple years ago when I said who's building to beat the Guru, y'all got to take the Guru in this thing. This was been predominant. I saw the process they were doing for the last couple years. It's because it's to defeat the Golden State Warriors. That's all this team is for because they're not built to outscore them because nobody can. But they're built to cause a lot of matchup problems, to give them a lot of torment, a lot of length. So I love the Sixers, especially with the addition with Tobias. That gives them another perimeter game. I love Tobias Harris. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. And I think he fits just perfectly as far as chemistry-wise because he's not a vocal guy. He's a locker room fuser. So
like
he's
a glue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So coming into that, and especially in an alpha-dominated locker room like the Sixers, he's going to blend in perfectly. Basically, he's probably blending in perfectly than Jamie would.
Probably. We talked about the win now attitude when they went for Butler. I said I wasn't on board with win now because this team's got, I thought it had a wider window.
You thought you wanted TJ McConnell. You want TJ McConnell.
I still want TJ McConnell in there, man.
I forgot the other
Covington and Saric. I still stand by the fact that this team with Tobias Harris would probably still be with Dario and a healthy Covington in the position it is. But I've learned to live this. I'm kind of in on the win now too. I've bought into the idea that without LeBron in the East, it's the time to go for it. And win now doesn't necessarily mean win the championship. You got to get to the finals first. And for any of these teams in the East, they got to prove they can get to the finals because it's been LeBron all the time. So the East has to prove that it can get there. And you know what? Now is the time. He's not there. You got a chance. We saw what the Harris-less Sixers did to the Warriors a week and a half ago as well, where they used their size and just bodied up the Warriors and had their way there. I love the Harris trade. I think he's the guy we should have had before Butler. But with him and Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, all-stars Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, that team's dangerous, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That Sixers team is rough and tumble. Now, that's not to say the moves made by the others weren't huge moves. I mean, the Celtics hold pat. Okay, we'll see where that goes. But what do you like? Do you like the Gasol trade in Toronto? Because they're in win now mode.
They in win now mode. It's just something about that team. They never got me. It could be. It's just like maybe like in football wise, it could be like the Detroit Lions or they could be the Chargers. Just about certain teams. I don't know if it's their color. Just certain teams. They could be good all they want, but something is just not correct there. I think Gasol, that might be 2 years too late in a sense, or a year and a half too late as far as being a championship impact trade per se. I like the trade the Bucks did.
Mirotic.
Yeah, Mirotic. I think that's another schematic fit for Milwaukee as far as what they have because they're building around the freak.
Yeah. That team is Giannis and surround him with shooters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like just put guys around him in the way that you put guys around LeBron.
Exactly.
And that's working in Milwaukee.
So that's what I mean. So the Gasol, I know Gasol could do a little thing, stretch a little bit, but I think fit-wise, those other guys fit their team they are now better. Tobias fit the gel of the Sixers. Mirotic fixed what the Bucks going with Giannis. So I think those are more seamless transition, and that's why you see after the trade it's been a positive, a natural positive swing.
So we are at the deadline here going forward. Who do you like coming out of the East? If you had to pick a team now, who do you like coming out of the East to take on the Warriors for all intents and purposes?
The Sixers. I'm going to say that again.
The Sixers?
The Sixers. Going
I like that,
Golden
man.
State. And just the thing is, I think everybody knows there's a little chink in the armor right now in Golden State. That don't necessarily mean they're not going to win it. But like I told you, and I'm going to say it again, standing on the record and say, this is the last run. It's the last hurrah. Like I anticipated. I expected the Sixers to make it this year, lose to Golden State, but they earned that natural experience, and now they have a little situation going on.
All right, so then let's focus on the West, which essentially held pat. These teams were built going in to try and take on the Warriors, knew where they were going to be. Most of the West stayed pat. Surprisingly, in fact, Anthony Davis and the Pelicans. The Pelicans did not move Anthony Davis before the trade deadline. And then it turns out that they were just stringing along the Lakers the entire time anyway and had no intent to move him. Guru, I know that you've been talking about LeBron this whole how did they fail to get him and what does this mean?